Internet, my name is Simon Miller and I will answer the question that is on a lot of people's lips first time they do tune into this show. What the hell is ups and downs? It doesn't make any sense. Look, it's nice and easy. It's just a review, but we call it ups and downs because then we can give the good bit an up and the bad bit a down, and we do it using this. It's known as the finger of power. And now you're thinking, Simon, what a stupid thing to say. You are right. But don't let him hear you. But our Impact adventures continue because not only did we up those downs from Victory Road over the weekend, but now we're going to do it for the weekly TV show. And then in 18 days, I know it's 18 days because John Matthews said Bound for Glory in 18 days around about 722 times. So he's from the WWE school of thinking. But anyway, we're going to do it for Bound for Glory too. But strap yourselves in, get yourself a nice glass of wine because it's relaxing, and let's up those downs for Impact. I want to make it very clear that I like Brian Myers and I like Tommy Dreamer. When we're talking about the former, it's just so pleasant to finally see him being used in a relevant and proper position. What I don't like though, and what always gets to me, is pointless rematches. Down. I also don't think the finish of this helped, but yes, not only had we seen Brian Myers versus Tommy Dreamer at Victory Road, but here we were 4 days later, or whatever the hell it is, and we were seeing it again, and there was no real stipulation, there was nothing different to it. It was just, oh, well, I lost to you, Tommy Dreamer said to Brian Myers, so maybe we should fight again? And we didn't even get an end to this, because Brian Myers has got a kendo stick and went thwonk, smacked Tommy Dreamer in the head, and that meant we got a disqualification. So now they are 1-1, and I bet you they do some kind of no DQ match at the pay-per-view. I just thought this felt a little bit all over the place. I also feel like we've seen Dreamer do that a lot, and I know that's his whole MO, but still, now we have arrived at my favourite place, which is not my favourite place, the law of diminishing returns. And one day I'll actually look that up. I hit my mic. Brian also continued to whoop Tommy Dreamer's ass afterwards until Scott D'Amore finally came down. And poor Scotty, man, he is the hardest working dude in wrestling. He's always trying to sort these idiots out. Some backstage skits followed, of course, because it's wrestling, and that's what we always do after our first match. Moose was still on the lookout for EC3, especially because Ethan said he was going to be there this evening. And then Johnny Swinger became the worst groom of all time as he told his groomsmen that they're going to have to pay for his wedding. I won't lie, that did make me chuckle. Can you imagine? You get bestowed this amazing honor, and then he goes, look, can you just lend me some pennies? I'm broke. And then Impact surprised the hell out of me. Rohi Raju was out here for the Defeat Rohit challenge when of all the people, Willie Mack came out. I don't understand why Impact keeps making Willie Mack look so stupid because of course he had his shot at Victory Road, he had lost even in controversial circumstances, and the whole rules of this challenge is you're not allowed to go after it if you've already had a chance. Willie, you had your chance, you gotta get out of here. It was kind of a good distracting device though, because do you know who actually came out to accept? None other than Jordynne Grace. Ooh, delally. The letdown, however, was that I wanted to see this and then Impact stole it away like Mother Nature stole away my hair. I would have even preferred it if Raju had found a way to sneak another victory. We didn't even get that. Instead, he was so terrified about handing his X Division Championship over to the referee that Willie Mack was trying to get it to. And in all this fracas, Jordynne used the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, and she actually beat him for the 3 count, and for around about 8 seconds at least was like, all right, sweet, I'm the new X Division champ. And I thought it was 2-2. It got me all excited as well because the first challenger could have been Tenille Dashwood, who'd been like, excuse me, I've beaten you twice. I think I deserve a shot. But then as it turned out, for practically no reason, the title wasn't on the line, even though I'm pretty sure they said it was on the line. At least that's what Rohit said, something to do with, well, I never officially handed my championship belt over to the referee, so you did beat me, well done, but I'm still the champ. What a letdown. Down. So I felt duped here, just not in the right way, and what a stupid, stupid rule. If there is a rule, Scott D'Amore should try and change that. And then of course D'Amore was back because he's the hardest working man in wrestling, and he found Raju as he was coming through the curtain. He was like, look, bravo, you did it again. You found a way to keep hold of your title, but that's all going to change at Bound for Glory. Because he is now going to take on all the people he has been screwing around, which is, let me see if I get this right, it's TJP, it's Willie Mack, it's Chris Bay, it's Trey Miguel, and it's Jordynne Grace, and of course him, And let's be fair, what a six-way that's going to be. And it does kind of make the whole defeat Rohit challenge redundant because it lasted all of, I don't know, 8 seconds. And once again, Tennille probably has something to say about this, but Dashwood wasn't on the entire show. Best man Fala Bar then had a really good plan about how to get money for Johnny Bravo's wedding. He was going to steal it from Hernandez. Why do people keep stealing money from Hernandez? Now, he was going to do this under the guise of an arm wrestling contest, but at this stage, Hernandez has got no one to blame but himself. We then had another rematch from Victory Road, and my eyebrow went up, because I was like, we can't just keep doing this over and over, because it kind of feels like I wasted my time on Saturday. However, there's always an exception to the rule, and this was the Rascals taking on Triple XL, and they just worked so well together, I'm giving it up. I still did get a little bit irked because it was classic 50-50 booking because Triple XL had won at the pay-per-view, so now it was time for the Rascals to get their win back and a little pat on their own shoulders. But look, I really like Xavier, I really like Wentz, and that's why I'm basically giving them a free pass. They are very good professional wrestlers. This was quick too, which helped no end, and also teased some kind of conflict between Larry D and Ace Romero, because at one point, Romero accidentally took Larry D's head off when he went for a lariat and completely missed and smacked his partner right in the neck. I mean, the Rascals were then able to hit the hot flame on Larry and get the 1-2-3, and just my own personal preference, if we are going to do a third, let the Rascals win and then somehow pigeon them into a title shot. They will deserve it. Hernandez then did indeed have this cash stolen. I mean, Fala Bar had spilled coffee on him and convinced him to have a shower and then snuck into the bathroom and, like I say, taken his finances. Hernandez, just get a security guard. I'll do it. What a segment we then had. Jimmy J. Cooper was interviewing Rich Swann on his doctor, and not only is Rich Swann going to be ready for Bound for Glory, but he's actually medically cleared right now, and everyone started dancing and celebrating, but deep down I knew something bad's about to happen, and it did. Dressed as a nurse, Eric Young popped up from nowhere and actually attacked Swann's injury with a kettlebell. You don't see that every day. I mean, very kindly, the doctor tried to ring the police, and he didn't have to ring the hospital because he's a doctor. This was suitably nuts though, which ties directly into Eric Young's character and just makes me want to see Rich Swann relieve him of his championship even more. Impact have a very good main event for Bound for Glory, and all we need now is to push the pieces together and I will be a happy wrestling fan. This always happens. Motor City Machine Guns interview next. Later on, they are going to be taking on Ace Austin and Madman Fulton, and of course, they put them over like any good wrestler should. Who they weren't so into was the Good Brothers, who just decided to interrupt. The champs told them they were the better team and that right now they should buzz off, and Gallows and Anderson were cool with this because they're undefeated in Impact Wrestling, and they know that soon they will be the tag team champions. They even said to Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, you know what, we're going to watch your backs just so that you're 100% at Bound for Glory, so when we beat you, we can prove you're a couple of chumps. I'm very excited that four-way for the Tag Team Championships got signed, and outside of the World Title Program, this is the best stuff on Impact. It was then Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie taking on Keira Hogan and Tasha Steelz, and I'm just a little bit worried that we seem to be going round and round in the same way here. Like, we always have some variation of this match, but I guess there is a bit of story in there. It's nice that Rosemary and Taya are friends again. And look, it was fine. It was decent. Just a decent tag match too. I mean, towards the end, Steel tried to take out Taya, but she failed, and that allowed Rosemary to hit her sit-out powerbomb thingy, and she got the 1-2-3, and the good guys were really happy, and the bad guys were really sad. You know, this is just gonna explode at one point, because watching backstage was Havoc and Nevaeh. So yeah, we're ticking along nicely, and it does make sense. But this one didn't get me particularly excited. But again, okay. And I know a lot of people out there in internet video land really like the comedy stuff with Johnny Bravo. And I mean this, good for you. If you're entertained, you've won. It doesn't matter what anybody else says or does. You decided to watch some television, you had a good time, ain't no one can take it away from you. I really like it. Down. Here it was the Groom and Crazy Steve taking on the Deaners, but the story here was that Crazy Steve was basically drunk and he kept telling the referee about all the cheating Johnny Bravo wanted to do because he had his bag of tricks, gimmicks and weapons. Bravo got so annoyed by this, he just decided to use Crazy's monkey thing he brings to the ring instead, but Steve couldn't handle that. He went absolutely nuts, and because of that, Cody Deaner grabbed Johnny Bravo, he gave him a DDT, and he pinned him from a 1-2-3. What a crappy pre-wedding. So it was just more nonsense like last week. I'm really struggling to invest into it. I guess we'll see where it goes. I really like Kylie Ray though, and she's just such a good example of why being all happy and smiley all the time can actually work for your wrestling character, because when you are upset and when you are mad, everybody takes notice, and that's what happened here. Because she was absolutely livid about everything that Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly had done to Susie at Victory Road, because what has Susie done to anyone? When Kimberly came up, basically looked at her and went, ha ha ha, we're going to do the same to you at Bound for Glory, and Kylie Ray, in a feat of passion, just absolutely walloped her. And when she was done, she instantly regretted it. It was like, oh no, what have I done? It's like when I sometimes record these videos and then realize I forgot to hit record, happened one time, or the memory card corrupts, I go flipping crazy, and then when I calm down, I'm like, that was silly. What a waste of anger. I really like the feud between her and Deonna Purrazzo though. I think we'll have a good match at Bound for Glory, and surely at this very moment, the women's champion is all like, oh, I've done it now. I've gone and made a big mistake. Then Heath, stupid Heath. After all these weeks of begging and pleading and wanting, he finally had his sit-down meeting with Scott D'Amore, the hardest working man in wrestling, to negotiate his Impact contract. And Scott had something all drawn up, but Heath wasn't interested in that because he had made his own deal. And surprise, surprise, when D'Amore saw it, he was like, I'm never going to sign you to this. This is baloney. The two started to argue. They came to an impasse, and if you can believe it, Heath left the damn room with no Impact contract in place. Heath, man, you've got kids. He is slowly becoming that guy that can make anything work though, and that was doubly true given what was happening next, because he bumped into Rhino, who was all excited like, oh man, have you signed? And he was like, do I look like I've signed? Do I look like I've got a contract? Why did I listen to you, Terry? Which is Rhino's real name. I had another deal on the table in WWE after that Raw segment with Drew McIntyre. I turned it down because you promised me big bucks, and now those big bucks are in the toilet, Terry. I did not see that coming, and maybe Heath is about to join the dark side. I know some people don't like these insider references, but I think Impact is very aware of their audience, and they must be, because my ears perked up. I thought this was great. It almost felt real, and I enjoyed him using Rhino's real name. I always get a kick out of that. I'm giving it up. EC3 then threw Moose's TNA title into the river. And it was all like free Moose and control your narrative and being all weird. And that was all we got between these two. I thought they were going to have a big clash, but I guess, it carries on the story thread. Maybe we'll have to wait till Bound for Glory. Moose will not be pleased when he finds out about this, and neither was Ken Shamrock. Not because of the title, because of other reasons. Because he was sat backstage here, hating himself for what he did to Eddie Edwards. And as it turned out, guess who put him up to it? Guess who is spoiling him on? That's right, it's that damn Sami Callihan. This is what he does. He managed to do that again here because Shamrock decided he was going to be a better person and change his ways. But before this was done, Sami had convinced him to just attack a random guy who was walking backstage. So this is like Sami Callihan's got an animal on a leash. You know what Ken's like? When you do set him off, everybody should be terrified. Kind of interested to see where this goes. I was then really pleased to see that we were getting a main event for the tag team division, because it just makes those championships feels important. And it was the Mo Machine Guns taking on Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. The championships were not on the line, and is getting it up. It obviously went 100 miles per hour, except when Fulton was on there, because he was a little bit slower and being more methodical than the others. And all of this just made sense. Like, I know sometimes there's too much gaga and nonsense in wrestling, but when you can justify it, it's fine. So beforehand, if I'd been told, Miller, all the other teams are going to get involved in this, I'd have been like, yeah, why wouldn't they? They hate each other. First it was the North, who came out with a chair, so who knows what they were going to try and do, followed by Gallows and Anderson, who were balancing things out. At one point, Gallows just smacked Madman Fulton with a chair, but that allowed the Motor City Machine Guns to hit one of their crazy moves. I can never remember what they're called. Just like wow, bang, and whiz. And they got the 1, 2, 3, so not only are they the champions, even though it was non-title, but they got another win. So it doesn't matter if these things are on the line or not, they get victories up the 2-9. The Good Brothers can now claim that if it wasn't for them, maybe they would have suffered a loss. And Impact went off air with everybody looking at the other one like, I think I'm gonna win. And really, you could make a case for all of them. Though I say it every week, but I'll say it again, Impact is just so easy to watch. And that's because it makes sense. Who knew? Who knew that when you sat down to watch television, you wanted things to make sense and not like a pigeon to just arrive from nowhere and just smack you in the head? You're like, well, I'm just watching wrestling. That's what happens. Either way, get it up. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of Impact. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE, and watch more videos here on What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you to everyone who also voted in the Retro Ups and Downs poll. Like last week when we did the highest rated of Raw, you were voted for the highest rated episode ever of SmackDown. But hey, you know what? That one was fun. Hopefully this one will be too. Austin blew up the DX bus.